Hello and welcome to this video where I am going to be painting a loose, kind of surreal portrait using only one color and no sketch whatsoever. So I have recently gotten the email with prompts for Inktober 2025, and those prompts look really great. So even though I skipped last year of 2024, I think I'm going to rejoin this year because I really loved doing it back in 2023, throwing out all these numbers. This one was, I don't remember which number it was later in the checklist, but this one was plump. So I picked a baby because babies are so plump. And the reason that I even did a baby at all, because there are lots of things that could be plump. I challenged myself as somebody who doesn't paint a lot of portraits and honestly gets kind of intimidated doing it in that loose, no sketch style. I challenged myself to focus on portraits during that Inktober and also paint on hot press paper. I am usually a cold and rough press kind of gal, but this is a block that I'd had for quite some time, and I needed an excuse to use it. And this is Arch Hot Press 140-pound paper. The paint I am using is Winsor & Newton Aqua Green, which is a lovely blue color. So right now, if I didn't tell you that this was a baby, would you have guessed? I know I wouldn't. And just the way it looks right now, it makes me think of that one surrealist painting. I don't know off the top of my head who the artist is, but The Scream, that really famous one where the face is kind of stretched out and the skin's like gray and its mouth is wide open. So yeah, if you just look at it, and I mean, you saw the thumbnail, you clicked on it. At first glance, it looks like it could be scary or horrifying. And it's not. It's a picture of a baby whose cheeks are being squished by an older sibling who's off camera. And I don't know this baby. I got the photo off of one of those sites like Unsplash or Pixabay, a place where you can use copyright-free photographs. And I highly recommend using those for practicing art, because you don't need photographer's permission. By them uploading on the site, they are giving permission to use the photos. So right now I am outlining fingers. And I will say, by not having a sketch at first and drawing with my brush, it means I have to be confident. But the other challenge I gave myself for Inktober was to finish paintings in about 30 minutes. So that usual rule I have about not using hair dryers, that goes to the wind. The biggest things to do were try and keep my subjects human or human-esque. So luckily this one stays completely human, and finish the painting in 30 minutes. And that keeps me from overworking, from spending too much time on things, because I'm a lady with work to do. I can't spend all day doing something that is really meant to stretch me and be more of the hobby side. And I'm sure you want me to talk about how I constructed this, but I'm just going to take one more quick moment on my soapbox of, as an artist, it can be difficult to separate the art that you want to do for pleasure, the hobby aspect, versus the art for work, for submitting to galleries, for making educational videos, for submitting for licensing deals. And it can just be really hard to find that separation. And so Inktober for me was a wonderful way to stretch myself, to stretch my creativity without the looming aspect over my head of, I need to make money from this. And if you have the time to do that, find some time for yourself as an artist to just make art for yourself. It can be hard. I know we don't have a lot of time in the day, but it will help you. Like doing all of these quick paintings sharpened my confidence in shapes and forms and trusting the process and not getting so hung up on things. I will say, though, if you're going to go with a monochromatic painting, that is great for these quick studies, because then you're focused on shapes and values. You're not so worried about color. You've only got one color. I would say go for a dark color like a purple, a dark green, a darker blue, so that you can get a range of values. You can make any dark color really light by adding lots of water, but you can only make the color so dark. And so luckily, this gets really dark. Now, you might be wondering, okay, you're going at this without a sketch. How are you finding these shapes? Well, like I said, I have a reference image, but there's more to it than that. I use an app that is a Notanizer, and what a Notanizer does is it puts everything in grayscale. And you can even just do that on your phone, put things in grayscale, but you can push settings to isolate values. So you can make it just black and white, where it is literally chunks of black and chunks of white. Or you can set that I want 3 values, or what I usually do are about 5 values, because I find that gives me the best range of shapes. And then that way I can just pay attention to this shape is white. This shape is light gray. So I translate that to light blue. This gray is black. Okay, we're going to use a lot of paint in that area. Oh, and there I'm doing the little baby's eyes. So for eyes, I like to go in dark and then with a clean brush, scoop out a little highlight. It gives it like a glassy sheen. Now I'm painting in the little baby's mouth. But I love little babies. I don't paint them a lot. I think it's because I can never get them as cute as real life. Also, this painting came back to mind for me because I have a beautiful little niece who is at the stage now where she's going, agoo, and has the chubbiest cheeks. And so she has the cheeks now that I want to do this. I want to poke the cheeks. I want to squeeze gently those little cheeks. And I can't because she's 2,000 miles away from me. So who knows, maybe I'll be painting more babies in the future. Specifically that baby. Good Lord, she's cute. Rayla, Auntie Valerie loves you so much and cannot wait to squeeze those little cheeks. Those little chubby mochi cheeks. And so now we're getting into, I wouldn't say details necessarily, but smaller shapes, really refining the planes of the face, because before I was just laying out a light wash to give me a map of where things would go. And then once you start going in with darker color, with harder lines, you are committing to shapes. And sometimes shapes look really weird. And that's when I would say, paint what you see, not what you think you see. Because oftentimes we are like, well, we know what an eye looks like, but do we? Because usually artists tend to paint them too big. If you're going for a realistic look, because we put so much importance on the eyes. You can get away with it though with babies because they got big eyes. Love babies. Ugh. If you liked this video, press that like button so I know to make more like this. And if you want to see more, subscribe because I post videos every Monday and Thursday. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye!